Hear that? Nothing? Me neither. But that's the perfect spot for your company's name to step into the spotlight. Become an underwriter for As You Mic It and let every episode be your curtain call. Slip a note to podcast@pashakespeare.org for more information.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to As You Mic It, the official podcast of Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival. I'm Connie Behringer, Associate Producer here at PSF. Our 2025 Summer Theater Series is in full swing, and we want to take you along for the ride. This summer, we'll be bringing you full episodes where we shine a light on the creative minds that are working this festival both on stage and off. Today, we're putting the spotlight on our Play On Community Tour, which brings free Shakespeare performances to parks, public spaces, and libraries across the Lehigh Valley. This year's touring production is one of Shakespeare's most beloved comedies, the witty and warm-hearted Much Ado About Nothing. Later this episode, we'll be talking to Play On actors India Proffit and Ryan Plunkett. But first, joining me is the director of this fast-paced, family-friendly production and our very own artistic director, the very hardworking Jason King-Jones.
Hi, Connie.
Hi, Jason. Welcome to As You Mic It.
Thanks for having me. I like your studio.
Thank you. This is just one of our very special places here on the beautiful DeSales campus. Indeed. So let's start with the big picture. For those who may not know, tell us a little bit about the Play On Community Tour.
The Play On Community Tour is a project that we started my first season here at PSF back in the old days of 2023. I wanted to create an opportunity for us to reach out into the community. For the first 32 seasons of PSF, everything had been, for the most part, on the DeSales campus, and an invitation for everyone in the community to come to DeSales. And what I noticed is, other than our fall Lenny Fowler Willpower Tour that goes into schools and has had a deep and lasting impact, we weren't doing a lot of outreach kinds of programming. So we made a couple of changes. One, we asked our education team to pick up some more community engagement activities, and ultimately that Department of Education became a Department of Education and Community Engagement. We launched a first Community Day, which was the open house event that we have now, again, three years in a row, and we're doing it this June 28th. Everybody's invited to it. And so what we decided to do was look at the young company of actors that we have. The young company are actors from DeSales University. They're either recent graduates, walked and got their diploma weeks ago, or they're still in school as like juniors or sophomores, etc. In the past, we had done the children's show. It looked to me like what we could do is we could condense those audiences to the second half of the summer. And so then in the first half, what we could do is we could take this company, we could teach them to do a Shakespeare show, direct them in a Shakespeare play, and then get them on the road early. So it allows us to utilize the resources that we have with the young company and give them a whole new experience, give them some training in doing Shakespeare, and also then get opportunities to connect with other community partners. What's really cool about the Lehigh Valley is our ability to collaborate with so many different organizations, and that's something that's been very important for me. So each time that we land either at Emmaus Public Library or Easton Farmers Market or the Museum of Industrial History or wherever we are performing, we're creating this collaborative partnership with this organization. They have a community that they serve. They can invite them to come see something that they don't often get a chance to do, and that's host a theater event. And we can invite our community who might not be able to make it to DeSales for whatever reason. It could be cost. It could be just time and opportunity. An opportunity to see something for free out in the community. So that was the thinking behind it. And every year we make little tweaks and changes on how we do it, but that's the idea behind it. And we wanted to do a Shakespeare comedy because the comedies they're light. We want to make sure that they're family friendly because we want to create opportunities for young folks to experience Shakespeare, good Shakespeare sometimes for the first time. We started with Midsummer Night's Dream because that's because that's a really great way to start. Last year we did the Comedy of Errors, and then this year it's Much Ado About Nothing.
Much Ado About Nothing is one of my favorites. It's probably one of the most accessible plays out there. It's such an easy way for people to start their entry into Shakespeare.
Do you know why? One of the reasons why it's so accessible?
No.
Because so much of it is actually not in verse. Almost the entire text is in prose. There are certainly chunks that are in verse, but a lot of it's in prose. So it's much more regular paced people talking, and it's not stuck to a kind of a verse format.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story is also relatable. The basic plot is all these guys just finish a battle campaign, a war, and no one of any note or name gets injured. It seems to be like a pretty easy thing that just happened. They all come back, they're successful, and now they want to celebrate. Leonardo is kind of the host and invites them all to stay. And because Leonardo invites them to stay and they were going to stay for a month, it's basically an invitation just to have a big party. And the play title, Much Ado About Nothing, the nothing, we believe that in Elizabethan time, it sounded much more like it was about noting, which kind of leads to one of the key things that happens in this play, which is there's a lot of gossip. There's a lot of listening in on conversations that you think you're not supposed to hear, but they know you're listening. So it's all this kind of like gossipy kind of teenage stuff that I think kids can kind of relate to as well. And then you've got Beatrice and Benedick kind of at the center of this play that are just such great characters with great witty language. Their battle of wits, they call it a merry war between them. And so it's just really great dialogue. So when you kind of mix all that together, I think it's just it's a recipe for a really good play. So the emotional journey of the play is just so much fun.
I love that. Now, this isn't your familiar black box or main stage performance.
No.
It's mobile, it's public, it's outdoors. So how do these known parameters for the play on tour shape your approach to this particular production?
The way that I've decided to direct this piece keeps the buoyant spirit alive as much as possible. We wanted to create a world that felt kind of like a resort, and we wanted it to feel relatable to folks whoever might be encountering it, whatever kind of background that they have, whatever their lived experience has been. So what we did was we kind of said, let's let ourselves be inspired by a couple of things. Let's let ourselves be inspired by the music and fashion of the 1980s. And let's let ourselves be inspired by a kind of beach resort vibe. So if Leonardo is the host of this party that's going to last for a month, well, this needs to be a kind of a place where there's a lot of recreation that can happen. So we tried to create, well, we did create all of these little nuggets to kind of show that these characters are off doing things you might do at a beachy resort, whether it's, a couple of guys got beach towels around their waist because they're going to go off and go to the pool or to the beach or wherever, or the croquet mallets or golf clubs or badminton, that there's always a sense that there's a different kind of diversion and fun right around the corner. And then, of course, like in the colors and the color scheme and texture, the setting is relatively simple. It's some blocks. We've got some palm trees. We've got a couple of plants. And then when we're outside, there's a big white canopy tent that we've kind of used that doubles as a backstage space and also feels a little bit like a cabana house. And so that's the setting for the play. So it's very nimble. It allows us to, it allows the company to kind of like roll in and set up in a very, very short amount of time. Typically they're rolling in like an hour and a half before the show, and setting everything up. They are using microphones, so we got to set up the sound system, which that is important because it allows us to be heard whether there's traffic driving behind us, like we were with the Emmaus Public Library when we were performing outside, or at the Easton Farmers Market when there's a river running behind the stage and people milling about. Putting everybody in body mics and being able to amplify the music that David Greenberg wrote or the voices on the stage then allows the piece to be able to sit outside really comfortably.
That's great. So this cast,
Yes.
the young company,
Yes.
they bring this really great kind of joyful energy to everything that they're doing. Can you share a bit about this particular ensemble?
This company are great. They're so smart and energetic and collaborative and funny and talented. I've had so much fun working with them. What you don't get when you're dealing with a young company is you don't get somebody like this good old man, like, well, he's actually 22, but he's tall. We put him in a linen suit. We gave him some swagger, but we can't really show the age so much. But that actually does impact some of the choices that we make because, a Don Pedro should be an older man, a Leonardo should be an older man, but then how they relate to the youth or their daughter or the other folks is different when you actually have like a legitimate person of a different generation compliment somebody's beauty or whatever. Like we have to like make it. We have to adjust kind of how it's staged and how those things kind of target individual people in a kind of an admiring way, or there's just different kinds of actions that have to get played when you have a younger person play an older person, as opposed to just like pretend you're old. So the company, India Proffit, is playing Beatrice. She is a rising junior. I directed a production at DeSales University in the fall. I directed an adaptation of The Servant of Two Masters, and she played Truffaldino for me. So I got a chance to really work well with India on that, and she's a natural comedian, a natural clown, and a really gifted performer. And Ryan Plunkett is playing Benedick. Ryan was a student of mine this last spring when I was teaching an advanced directing class. So I got to know Ryan a little bit. Then I've seen him on stage. He's a great musical theater performer. I didn't have as much experience doing Shakespeare, and I think he and some of the other company were nervous about that. We brought in a text coach. Greg Leeming is a local, really talented text coach and writer and theater professional who's now retired from his professional life in theater. And so he's doing some part-time work with us as a text coach. But he really got to help the actors really drill down into some fundamental things that they needed to know in order to like really conquer the text, which they've been able to like really just lift off. It's been really great. And so those are two of the actors that are in the company, and they're doing a really fabulous job. They all are doing a fabulous job. I could go on and on about them.
Mm-hmm. So for folks who haven't caught the performance yet, what should they expect?
We should expect a 90-minute show. That's the first thing. It's 90 minutes. It's no intermission. It's fun. It's exuberant. You should expect, hopefully, to follow a pretty clear story. It's really important for me as a director. We do this thing. We're like, well, I'm a storyteller, and we are. Directors are chiefly storytellers. It's our job to make sure that an audience kind of sit down and have an experience and fundamentally just understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. This is not some wild reinterpretation of Shakespeare, unless you think that putting people in beachy wear and using 80s music is a wild reinterpretation, which it's not. But it is very faithful to the text. There are cuts, clearly, because we have to get it down to 90 minutes. But if you know Much Ado About Nothing and you see this piece, you're going to feel as though you're getting what another director friend of mine calls the full meal. So you get the full experience, the full story. There are a couple, Leonardo has a brother named Antonio. Antonio does not make an appearance in this production. We kind of do it without Antonio. There are a couple of other smaller roles, but most of all the roles are there. And you're going to get a really clear, fun, specific and lovely story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jason, thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation with me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Connie. And what I'm also excited about is we're going to switch places, and I'm going to take the interview chair next. And after this break, we're going to speak to those two actors that I was just talking about, India Proffit and Ryan Plunkett.
Prepare yourself for some drama. Experience the thrill of live professional theater right here in the Lehigh Valley with the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival's thrilling summer theater series. Don't miss it. Tickets on sale at pashakespeare.org.
As the director of Much Ado About Nothing, I had a chance to work with a couple of great artists from DeSales University, part of our young company. And so here with us today are India Proffit and Ryan Plunkett, who played Beatrice and Benedick, respectfully, in this production of Much Ado. Welcome.
Cool. Well, it's good to be
Good
here.
to be here. Thanks for having me.
This is cool. I feel like I've made it. I'm on a podcast.
I wanted to invite you two in because I wanted to talk about the process of learning to take on these characters. How you, as an actor, prepared for the role of these kinds of iconic characters. India, what was it like taking on Beatrice, and how did you prepare yourself for it?
Well, it was really exciting because Beatrice is like one of my favorite Shakespeare characters ever. Like that line, "I was born to speak all mirth and no matter," I feel like is me. And I read it for the first time and I was like, oh, I love her. Like I feel like I kind of get Beatrice very well. Like the always making jokes and sometimes kind of putting your foot in your mouth by mistake. Like that's very me. So yeah, so that was really cool to be able to see like a Shakespeare character that just feels very like relatable and kind of like intuitive. Like despite like the, poetry of the language, she kind of talks how people talk. So it's really cool to see that. So yeah, I kind of felt like just in general, like becoming Beatrice, I kind of slipped into it pretty naturally because the way that she like is quick with her jokes and stuff kind of like makes sense to me, you know?
And then Ryan, what about you? Taking on Benedick?
Gosh, I guess Benedict is just so much more charming than I am. So there were a lot of moments where I think me, Ryan, would have made a moment sarcastic or made fun of myself for it. Like, I have that boombox for a lot of the show. So coming in with a boombox, I had to find genuine like reasons to come in with a boombox and be kind of like into it and kind of into myself, Benedict, a little bit.
Talk a little bit more about the boombox because there are people who are going to be listening to this that haven't seen the show yet.
Yeah, that might be a spoiler.
It's okay, but it happens in the first act.
It's true. Yeah.
So Benedick enters with boombox. What kind of world are we talking about here?
Can I give away like the song that I play?
Sure.
Yeah. So we come in. All the soldiers come in from. We've all been to war. We come back from war to what other song other than "I Was Made for Loving You" by Kiss, and I come in. My first entrance is me with a big boombox. Right after I think Beatrice is saying how I'm kind of like the worst, and I come in with a boombox. And I guess what was challenging about that is like, yes, I know it's silly. How do I, like Benedict, take myself more seriously? And I did it. I think it was listening to Kiss really made me feel more serious. But there's a lot of moments where I don't know, where I had to be sort of more earnest, especially since there are so many moments where I'm speaking just to the audience. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, if I'm not taking myself seriously, then nobody else will, especially on some lines where I think should be more serious, like if I do not love her, I'm a fool. The biggest challenge was being open to share, I guess, like the actual earnest parts of Benedict with an audience.
Yeah, it's
instead of making it a joke.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think you both are naturally gifted clowns.
Yeah.
And now you naturally gifted clowns have to be like serious romantic people as well. That like you can do the quips, but then also have to just be like open and heartfelt.
Yeah, the soliloquy after the gulling scene is tricky because there's like no humor in it. It's just straight up like, this is what I'm feeling, and I'm gonna say it because I'm feeling it, and that's more like, ooh.
That's hard, especially after making fun of Hero and Claudio for it. So like not even that far, earlier before that. Being earnest is difficult when your characters are maybe more snide and sarcastic. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's go into a little bit of the work of making the play happen. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about working with Greg, our voice coach, and what was the experience like for you all working with Greg and really drilling down into the text.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was something I've obviously like never done before. This is the first Shakespeare play that I've been in. Getting that opportunity to not only do like text work like you would with any other play and like figuring out, why does this matter? Like, what are you saying here? All of that. But like, I feel like the main thing that I took away from working with Greg was like giving the language the space to breathe, right? It's like, when you have something that's written in poetry, it's like it's important to understand like, this is what I'm trying to say. And if I were to say it in modern words, it would sound like this. And it's like, okay, I can say that thought in 5 words, but instead I have like 3 sentences to say that thought. Yeah. Why do I need that many words to fill this space? So it's kind of the difference between like what I might have been doing before, which is like, okay, taking this text and kind of saying it in like a modern way. And like, this is how India would say it. But it's like, okay, you can't say it that way, which means you need to bring the emotion to it to fill out that amount of space. Right. That like you have so many words to say it. And you're not just saying words for the sake of saying words. You need to like motivate needing that many words to get the text across. That was, I'd never thought of it that way before. And that was cool.
Greg helped me with one of the monologues that I had where some of those thoughts are really long. I remember we just kept kind of stopping and restarting. Yeah. It's because I literally I didn't have enough fuel to get to the end of the thought. So it's literally like, it's like taking a breath before a really long phrase of music or a giant high note. And I've never really thought about it like that. So it was like literally picking out places to breathe and like breath marks was like just a technical challenge that I'd never really encountered before. Yeah.
Were there parts of the text, because you both speak a lot of prose, and then you launch into verse in that soliloquy after you've decided you're going to let yourself fall in love, and you have some verse, but again, it's a lot. Other than that big scene at the wedding, it's a lot of prose. Did you notice a difference, either of you, between how you had to attack the prose versus how you had to attack the poetry?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes it easier that it's like mostly prose. It takes a bit of pressure off. You get to be guided by like your internal rhythm rather than like the rhythm of the text. But I do have that like almost sonnet after the gulling scene. So that's tricky because there's like the rhyme of it, which I was kind of like speeding through it because I was like, oh, this is the sentence. So I need to get to the end of the sentence.
Right.
And then something that was really important was me and Greg talking about like taking the time to enjoy the fact that you're speaking in poetry. Like don't speed through it and breeze through it because you're trying to talk like a human. Like you're speaking in verse for a reason. So like you're allowed to enjoy the fact that I'm speaking these thoughts and there's a rhyme here. So let me like lean into that a little bit and then breathe at the end of the line to like come up with the next thought. Like just letting it be poetry and not having to like force it into a thought that sounds like how people speak.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I wanted to turn to the creation of the rehearsal process, the making of the play. And Ryan, I want to go to you a little bit because you and I spent a semester in advanced directing. I taught you this last semester in advanced directing class, and then you were in a process where we were doing something that maybe didn't have anything to do with what we taught in that class. So I'd love for you to kind of reflect and talk a little bit about the process.
Well, I mean, in class we talked about a lot of questions that were brought up in class I'd never thought before. One of the questions that we had to do in class was like, well, who is this production for? And I think that question was very big in our production because, well, our production is outside, so it's for people outside whose focus is maybe in different places, where outside there's a lot of noises happening. So I guess who is it for, where is it for, was a very big deal. And so the way that was sort of worked around was interesting to me. In like a lot of the action is downstage and in your face. When a character is speaking to the audience, they are right there at the center downstage speaking to them. Like you can't really afford to not grab attention, which was kind of interesting, which is different from a show that's, on a stage in a quiet theater like the main stage where something could be happening, all the way upstage and you could still be really focused on it. And so that was a sort of a big thing that played into this production. Another thing, I guess, playing off of that question is like, well, we know that this has to be sort of a fun thing and there has to be a lot of life and fun to it.
Yeah.
Because people are taking time out of their day to maybe go somewhere they've never gone before or go somewhere they're very familiar with and are maybe bored of. So it's like, how do you bring fun to somewhere, that maybe you've never been or they've been too much? So how do you make the familiar unfamiliar and kind of fun? Yeah. So who is it for was a big question.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I that is definitely something we were drilling a lot in the process, remembering who the audience is. Indeed, now that we've had a few audiences to play this for, can you talk about how the performance experience has varied given the circumstances of the space and the people and the time? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, there are like, I mean, with any show, there are some crowds that like are in it from the start and they're like laughing immediately. And then there's some times where you have to kind of like win people over and like bring them around. And especially with Shakespeare, where the language is so unfamiliar, sometimes you start talking and kind of like for the whole first scene, it feels like everyone's like, what? Yeah. So then when that's the case, you have to really be able to focus on like, okay, I need to, invite these people into the story and ask them to care about what's happening. So what's been interesting for me is like, moments where Beatrice is telling jokes to the other characters on stage, whether it's like the battle of wits with Benedick or me making fun of Benedick before he's even on stage, is like feeling out sort of with the crowd. When am I talking to the people that I'm in scene with? And when can I like turn out and like tell a punchline to the audience to see if I can like welcome them into the scene a little bit? Because then they'll recognize like, oh, okay, we're telling jokes, we're laughing, and maybe like invite them to like recognize when things are funny, because it's not like immediately obvious if you're not used to Shakespearean text. I think that's the thing that we're encountering a lot, is because we're doing like outdoor spaces at like, you know, whatever community center or church we happen to be at. There's a lot of people in the audience who aren't used to the type of theater that we're doing, or don't really know how to encounter it. So when that's the case, it's really important to be able to like, I don't know, like bring things directly to them and be like, hey, I'm doing something here. Do you want to laugh with me?
Yeah.
And like kind of looking for opportunities to sort of ask the audience to be your friend. Because if we were just like performing for them, I think it would just be like eyes totally glazed over a lot of the time, because it doesn't really make sense if you're not really locked into the text. And like who would be in like an outdoor pavilion,
Right.
you know?
Doesn't that also like speak to actually like what's truthful about doing Shakespeare and how Shakespeare actually was writing his plays? He was writing it in an open air amphitheater for an audience that was just like literally right there.
Right.
And, you know, they're eating nuts and they're cracking jokes and all that. And like, you have to grab their attention.
Yeah,
And
and it's not like remotely funny enough if you're just like, you know, talking to your actor friend and not caring about the audience. That's not inviting enough to like bring the audience into the show.
So have there been any stories you want to share about any specific audience or any specific moment that has played differently or surprised you on how an audience may have responded?
Well, there have been certain challenges that came up with certain locations. We did a show where we were in a park, and it was a very busy park, and across the field from where we were playing, it was like a nice kind of like open little like stage that we were in. And across from the stage, there was some sort of like banquet for a baseball team.
Yeah, there was like an awards ceremony
end of year thing. So
it was like the wedding scene. Like hero is fainting on the floor, and someone in the corner is like, "Let's give it up for Jeremy!" Woo! Jeremy!
So
like cheering and screaming during the climax of the show.
So like we had to really lock in, like really focus on, because if I look at Jeremy getting his award, then so's the audience. So that was one where we really all had to like focus on each other.
Because I know that was something we talked about in rehearsal, is like the level of focus that outdoor theater takes versus indoor theater is like it's like draining the amount of energy that you have to put into listening to what's going on and watching what's going on. It's not just like, it's not a passive thing you can do. You have to be like actively focused on listening when you're outside, because if you're not focused, then the audience can't at all. So just doing it in different places every time, that there's a lot of stuff like that, or we'll be like set up in front of train tracks, and it'll be the middle of the scene, and it's like
there's just a train or a big truck, or I love when the motorcycles awesome. But then it's really nice to see, like I think the first crowd we had, our opening show, I thought they were very focused on what was happening.
Yeah,
so that was one where I felt like I could
surprising, because we were
relax.
right on a main road, and they were like really with us. It was very cool.
So it's easy to tell when I feel like I'm being listened to and when not.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's when you're not, you just have to like focus on like you know, bringing the audience in with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is the Young Company. This is the first time that either of you have been a part of the Young Company. And we've been in rehearsals and performance now for about a month or so.
Yeah, jeez.
About 4 weeks. Right? About 4 weeks of this. And we've got another 2 months to go for this whole experience. I'm wondering if either of you have had even an opportunity to reflect on how you're different now than when you started as an artist.
I guess it's the amount of responsibility has grown so much from, I guess, from school shows. Maybe there's more forgiveness, I guess, if I'm not maybe fully off book at a certain date, or if I don't remember blocking, or if I'm just not fully present in rehearsal. There's forgiveness because I have classes or whatever, and we all understand that. But this being the one thing that like I am focusing on, it's a lot more responsibility to like, no, you've blocked the scene, you have to memorize the scene. You're in performance, you have to show up early, you got to be in costume and be ready, put your beard on, like it's and also being surrounded by professionals like invites me, I think, to like kind of like get my stuff together and like really kind of like be a professional and not just like DeSales student in DeSales show, you know?
I was having a lot of trouble with aspects of this show, like especially doing it outside. I just felt like I couldn't focus in. And something that was really cool that really helped me was actually seeing Rachel Camp in Penelope, because she's so good in that show. And one of the things that I was thinking about while I was watching is like, oh my gosh, she's really like listening to everything. That must take so much time outside of rehearsals to like focus in on exactly like what she's doing in every moment of what's happening. And I was watching her and I was like, oh, I could probably be doing more work with with my stuff. And then I came into rehearsal the next day and I was like, okay, what happens if I'm like 100% focused for like the whole time? And it like made the biggest difference ever. I was like, oh, I know exactly what's happening now. I like totally figured out a scene that was giving me a lot of trouble. It's really cool to be around like theater professionals and be around people who like you said, aren't focused on like classes or aren't thinking about that other assignment where it's like, this is the thing that's happening and this is what we're doing. And like seeing how that applies to like the different shows that are going on and then like learning from what's happening with other people and like bringing that to whatever you're doing. It's really cool.
Yeah, the bar is much higher. I mean, you're surrounded by people who are so good at their job. You know, it's like, it's inspiring. Yeah, it's cool.
That's good. And just wait till we get into rep rehearsals.
I know. Oh, yeah. I know. I've been thinking about it.
It's going to be.
I'm thinking about that too, that we're going to start working on like Hamlet, and then I'm going to look back at Much Ado and be like, oh, I wish I'd known that.
Yeah. Share a stage with these people.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Well,
I'm excited.
One of the exciting things is you are going to get a chance to do Much Ado at Community Day on the 28th.
Right.
Yeah.
After you've had some time in rehearsal. With the company. So we'll see how you can apply whatever those lessons are for that encore performance. So wrapping this up, last question for listeners that have not yet seen the show and have listened to this conversation. What's one big reason for them to come see Much Ado About Nothing?
Oh, it's so much fun. I mean, I think maybe we're just enjoying it a lot when we're on stage. Like, it's just very fun to just like every day head out on the road and like unpack somewhere and like also like figure out what the problems of the certain space are and like how we address it, how we come up with solutions. I think like the energy that we've brought to the show is like very fun. I think because it has to be. It's like we got to be the highest energy thing there, you know, and I think it's fun.
And it's such a great group of people that like we all will recognize the problems and we'll figure out solutions to help each other out, and we'll figure out like, ooh, in this space maybe I can do this bit and then maybe you'll pick it up. Like I think we all just like help each other out a lot, and we all get along really well. And since it's a new location every time, we have to like show up and make this like the most fun performance ever, and then we pack up and leave at the end of the day. So like every performance really has to be like the most amount of fun we can have in this space, because it's our only chance to do it in this space.
I was thinking about, because I remember you said during rehearsal a lot that like this was going to be some people's first experience with Shakespeare. Yeah. And I've been trying to look at like audience faces, especially like there are a lot of kids at the performances, and I think they know what's going on.
Yeah,
so
it's always really awesome. It's cool when people are laughing at the punchlines, but also the moments that get a lot more serious and intense, when you can like take a line out to the audience and you see a kid like, oh, what? It's really awesome, because it's like, oh, you know what's going on. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been really cool to chat with you guys about
it's
this.
been cool.
And thank you for taking the time. Thanks for being a part of the Young Company this year.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more ahead of us for this summer theater series. But it's been a lot of fun having you here for this conversation.
Cool.
So thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Jason.
Connie.
Yes. Thank you for championing this tour and for making Shakespeare feel like a welcome guest in every corner of the Lehigh Valley. And thank you so much to India Proffit and Ryan Plunkett for taking time out of their busy tour schedule to join us today. The Play On community tour of Much Ado About Nothing continues through June 15th with stops at local parks, libraries, and public spaces across the region. These performances are free and open to all, so bring a blanket, bring a friend, and bring your best banter. For the full tour schedule, visit pashakespeare.org. And as always, special thanks to Chuck Gloman, Jarret Brown, and the entire TV film department of DeSales University for helping make this podcast possible. I'm Connie Behringer, and from all of us here at As You Mic It, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at La Buddha. Thank you for listening to As You Mic It, a Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival presentation recorded on the beautiful campus of DeSales University. Our music is by Cedric Lamar, with hosts Jason King-Jones, Kim Carson, and Connie Behringer. For more information on our summer theater series, giving opportunities, tickets, and more, visit pashakespeare.org. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you at La Buddha.
Behind every standing ovation is a network of patrons who know that theater changes lives. With tickets funding only half the cost, PSF counts on contributions to produce world-class theater, cultivate new audiences, and nurture future generations of artists. Give today at pashakespeare.org/support. Great theater is a collaboration both on stage and off.